Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Nico V here, back with another episode of Partner in a Year, the weekly video diary I am keeping to document the steps I'm taking to try to get Twitch partner within the span of 1 year, starting from what essentially nothing. So let's get on with this episode. This is episode 33. We're getting quite deep into it. Only have a handful of weeks left, so um, I think now is going to be a good time to do the turning point because I'm very close to beating Elden Ring. I think that we're going to have one more Elden Ring stream, and then I have to move on from that because, as a variety streamer, I got to keep finding new ways to draw people in. The Elden Ring content isn't really drawing new people in, it's just something that really I want to do, but again, that's fine. We live and we learn. So, what did we do this last week? It was really just Elden Ring, and I just I feel like I feel bad because it's not really like I said, drawing people in, and that's something I think I needed to be striving for every week. And the fact that like not even like a lot of people don't even really come to watch the Elden Ring streams anyways, even like the regulars and stuff like that. The regular guys do, obviously. So we'll but like people who are usually in there don't come in. So we're gonna plan some new things. I am planning new games for the week ahead. Monday, I'm going to be streaming a game with Garrett. I don't know what yet. I need to talk to some people, see if we can get some of the friends together. It could be Vermintide, could be Phasmophobia, could be Left 4 Dead, um, stuff like that. So we'll have to see. And I guess all I can really do is talk about what I did last week, and that is going to be Elden Ring. So this will be the last Elden Ring episode. I swear. If I have more, that's not good on my part. So let's talk about what I did. It was another week of just kind of playing through it. I'm very close to beating the game. I'm in the last part of it. Two streams were dedicated to beating this one boss though, because I'm like, because I beat the game. I'm not sure that you can go back and do everything once you beat the game. That's why I'm trying to get everything out of the way now, because the way Souls games worked in the past is when you beat the game, it would just immediately throw you in a new game plus. Actually, wait, that's not true. Dark Souls 3 didn't do that. I'm just now remembering. Dark Souls 3 doesn't throw you in a new game plus. You choose to do it later on. So actually, maybe Elden Ring did that. It would make more sense for Elden Ring because Elden Ring is a big open world game, and I feel like there's a lot of stuff you can easily miss. Um, but anyways, two streams are pretty much dedicated to beating this one boss, and the boss was called. I mean, I think it's the hardest boss in like the entire Soul series. And again, that's I'm kind of handicapping myself when I'm playing that game because I am playing it like a classic Dark Souls game. I'm just rolling and hitting things. I'm not making use of any of the. I mean, I'm jumping and stuff, and I'm using the horse obviously, but I'm not using any of the any like magic, and I'm not using any of the Ashes of War, which like I think the game does kind of push you to use that. I'll be like, to be completely honest, like you can complete it without it, but there's just I think the game wants you to test your creativity rather than do what I'm doing. But I have fun doing what I'm doing, which is why I am doing it. Um, so there is one boss. I think most people agree is the hardest boss in the game. Her name is Malenia, the Blade of Miquella, and it is like she is by far and away. And obviously, this is spoilers for Elden Ring people, but I doubt anyone very interested in Elden Ring spoilers or is watching now. But just I'm gonna warn you. She is by far and away the hardest boss in any of the Souls games that I've ever played, like by a mile. I think she's significantly harder than Ishin, um, which I thought was the other hardest boss in Dark Souls, in Sekiro, the end of Sekiro, because Ishin tested if you knew the game very well, and like you pretty much had to have perfected the parrying system and like the combat of Sekiro to properly like to beat Ishin, right? And I think that was cool, but once you got that down, you could definitely like fight him and get a handle on him. Um The other hardest boss that I'm thinking of is Midir. Midir in Dark Souls 3. That was a hard boss. Um, that boss I think is deceivingly hard because like it is hard and it's like he's a tank for sure, but the reason that it's hard I feel like for most people is because they go for the legs, like they dive under him and they start hitting his legs, and it just seems like he has so much HP. But if you fight him, I think the way you're intended to fight him, and that's like if you just stay in front of him, because under his legs is the safest place, right? That's why I think most people default to trying to fight him there. Um, if you stand in front of him, like he can attack you more, but if you dodge those attacks, you have more openings to hit his head, and hitting his head does double the damage. So once you kind of get that down, like it is definitely riskier, but he seems more like just like a regular challenging boss um, after that. So Madir, I think I beat in like an hour and a half. Not an hour and a half, like around the hour mark. Ishin probably took me like an hour, 2 hours. Malenia is a boss that took me, I want to say five. I don't even know how many attempts because I'm always the type of person that tries to like once I come up to a challenge, I just want to beat it. And that's another problem that I have with that I personally have with Elden Ring. Not any fault of the game, but it's like if I'm in an area where the enemies are too tough or there's a boss that's too hard, I'll just muscle through it, even if it is extremely painful and I should come back. Malenia, I started one stream fighting her, and I think I fought her for like close to 4 hours maybe, and when that happened, I had to turn the game off, and that's like not something that I ever did before with the boss. Like I had to literally, and part of that is because I was doing something the next day and I didn't want to stay up too late. But still, she still made me like she still pretty much defeated me and had me come back the next day to beat her, which um, is cool. And I'm kind of like split on the boss with Melania because on one part, I think I actually love her. I do think she's actually my new favorite boss in the entire Soul series. And when I was fighting her, I thought she was annoying and I hated her. But it's like looking back, I can kind of appreciate what they were going for with her because um I don't know how to say this, but it's like okay, so I'm gonna talk more spoilers about this, and her main mechanic that is like big is the fact that she heals every time she hits you. She has the rally from Bloodborne, right? Every time she hits you, she regains health. At first, when I was fighting her, I hated that and I thought it was terrible. But like thinking about it, I'm kind of realizing that I think the developers did that because they wanted to make a boss where summoning was not like super optimal. Because if you summon things, I didn't summon, but from what I understand, if you summon things, if she hits them, she regains health. So I realize that's a very smart thing of a smart thing of them to do, and I actually like it a lot because I've always been the kind of person that like I've always been the person that tackles bosses solo, and I don't want to summon at all. Um, and it's fine to summon. I'm not saying that there's like anything like wrong with summoning, because not all the players have the patience to just hit their heads against brick walls like I do. They don't have the patience for that. Which again is why I like Sekiro so much because there's no summoning. But like summoning is fine, but I do like that there is a mechanic or there is a boss and she's an optional boss too. That's really out of the way. You could go the entire game and you don't have to fight her and you don't have to beat her. So I think that's a good compromise there. If she was a main boss, that would suck. But it's like people who have been leaning on the summoning the entire game um, are gonna find themselves having trouble with that, and they're gonna have to really like dig down and find it in themselves to beat her. And I do, I like that. I like that a lot about her because it's like I'm finally being rewarded in dedicating myself to just learning the boss and rolling at the right times and hitting her with my big sword. There's still like obviously there's still build that will just like kind of make the fight way easier than it is. Like Bloodhound Step. I saw some people use that. That's crazy. I don't have that. Using magic with like range, obviously that's more stuff that would just make the fight a lot easier. But at the end of the day, I still think it's going to be challenging. And again, I do like that it kind of punishes players for using summons. Because none of the other bosses really do that. If you summon someone, they get more health. But apart from that, there's another target, another source of damage. And, um, it just feels nice to be rewarded for like learning the boss. Um, the other thing that kind of makes her bullshit is this one move that she has that I'm sure most people know about is the that have fought her, the waterfowl dance. That's this move where she leaps. It's very hard to dodge, and she leaps at you with like an AOE flurry attack. And at first, I literally thought it was undodgeable. Like I could not roll out of it, and you really can't roll out of it. What you have to do is you have to run away in the opposite direction, so that the first hit of it misses, and then you can roll through the other two. Sometimes you can run through two hits and then get out of the last one by rolling. I learned to dodge it, not consistently, mind you, because the move is kind of bullshit. Because it's like it's just so hard to dodge. But the thing is that like it's not impossible to dodge. And here's another thing that I like about it because the move I found was really catching me off guard and like just really ruining me when I was starting to get like aggressive and I was starting to put pressure on her because she staggers pretty easily. The rest of her moveset is just normal boss moveset. I don't think that she would be I think she would be like a mid-tier difficulty boss. Not even mid-tier, probably a very easy boss without having maybe mid-tier because of her second phase. But I don't think that she would be a very strong boss if she didn't have the Regan and she didn't have this waterfowl dance. I think that the purpose of it is to have players be mindful of their positioning because that's another thing in the Souls series that players kind of figured out is if they just get behind a boss and just start ruining them, there's nothing the boss can really do about it. And I think the purpose of that waterfowl dance in terms of game design is so that players can be more like more mindful of their positioning and they can't really like rush the boss because if you're standing under her when she does it because she can do it whenever, like it's not like a scripted thing, and if you're standing under her when she does it, then she will just ruin you and kill you. It kind of but if you're like standing kind of like in front of her when she chooses to do it, then you can like run out. And that's the chance that you get to do it. You get to dodge it. And I think personally, I don't know. I do like that because it's like Souls players have had what they had Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, Bloodborne, and Demon Souls. So that's 5 games for them to perfect the art of rolling and hitting. So they have to mix it up somehow. And I think Elden Ring does a good job of mixing it up, even if it does feel like BS sometimes. Uh, and I don't know. I really do. At the like looking back on it, I do like it. A lot of players will think it's BS, and I think it's okay to think that because it is just a super hard move to dodge. But I think what it's trying to push the player to do is just be mindful of their positioning against her and make it so that like they're always going to be on edge. And because my health stat was I think at like 50 at the time that I did that fight, and it's that move still one shots me. But the thing is like it's not impossible to dodge. Another boss that I fought in the same stream was a guy named Mog, and there's something about him that I really don't like is that he has this attack that's just unavoidable, and I tried so hard to like dodge it, and it just keeps hitting you. And I was like, "What is up with this?" And I had to look it up because I had a sneaking suspicion that I was doing something wrong in the fight, and that's something I don't like with boss fights. I don't like when you go into a fight and you need a certain item or you need to have done something outside of the fight for it to be fair. And I think Mog is kind of the epitome of that, because he has one attack that like I kept trying to dodge, it just kept hitting me no matter what, and it would one shot me every time. And it turned out that I needed to get an item from some like church in the middle of nowhere and to fight him, and that's not something that I really like. Like I think that's less fair than something like the waterfowl dance where um you can dodge it. It's just really, really hard to dodge. But overall, I think Malenia is actually my new favorite boss of all the Soul series. Um, just just like the aesthetic and like her, just how difficult it is, and I just love that there's finally a boss that punishes you for using summons. Like that's nice. My other favorite boss was Abyss Watchers actually before this, and I still do really love the Abyss Watchers, but uh, they're not nearly as hard as some of the other bosses here. But I've been talking about this for a long time. It's been almost 15 minutes, so I think I'm gonna wrap up the episode there. Yeah, Malenia's my new favorite boss fight. And yeah, so we're gonna end it there. I'm gonna update my schedule today again. Tomorrow, it's gonna start being different. We're not gonna commit to Elden Ring anymore. We're gonna mix it up. Maybe we'll do more Minecraft, more stuff like that. But yeah, so either way, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.